Hey everybody, welcome to Wacky Wednesday number 66 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and this past Friday was the last F&M before pre-release, and that means that my local store does a rainbow draft, or a chaos draft, or a grab bag draft as you may know it. It's a draft where we take packs of every single pack that is sitting on the shelf, which this time around was Return to Ravnica through to Battle for Zendikar and everything in between, and we throw them in a bag and everybody gets 3 random packs, and we draft all of these sets together in one giant mishmash. I'm going to go over my draft and then my deck and tell you how I did. This will be the second Chaos draft that I've done on this channel. The first pack that I decided to start with was good old Return to Ravnica, the earliest pack in this draft. So I opened up my pack and I was hoping for, I don't know, a foil Shockland or a foil Abrupt Decay. There's a foil at the back, but it's an Azor's Elocutor. But hey, there's a good rare, Deathrite Shaman. That at least makes back almost all of my my entry fee right there. I see a Knightly Valor, a Stab Wound gets pushed to the front because, of course, Stab Wound is amazing. I debate whether or not to take the Azor's Elocutors. It's probably more in the vein of Wacky Wednesday, but I go for the value and I take the Deathrite Shaman. Following that pack, I get past a pack of Origins. I see a Tower Geist on the front. That looks pretty good to me. There's a Fire Fiend Elemental, Separatist Void Mage, sifting on through. Well, there's a Swift Reckoning. The rare is Jace's Sanctum. So I'm kind of debating between the Swift Reckoning or the Tower Geist. Swift Reckoning is removal. It never really did what I wanted it to do in Origins, but it's okay in this format. This format is a very slow format most of the time. So really, it's kind of between that or the Tower Geist, and I just go for the removal. Next pack comes along, and it's Gatecrash. There's a Massive Raid, I think it's called, on the front. I see a Hydra Form. There's a Guildgate, I guess. There's a Cartel Aristocrat. Cartel Aristocrat could be fun, and I've already gone black-white. Cartel Aristocrat is a great target for auras and things because you can sack a creature to save it, negating any sort of removal. I see a Bomber Core. I don't super know where I want to go here. Metropolis Sprite is a possibility. It's just a tiny little semi-aggressive blue creature. Court Street Denizen, I'm in white. Maybe that's kind of where I want to go. But, I think the Cartel Aristocrat's kind of the way to go here. I'm black-white off my first 2 picks. Maybe I want to go green with the Deathrite Shaman, but black-white's really good in this format if you can get enough Extort, because that can just steal games. So I do go for the Cartel Aristocrat and kind of seal myself into black-white off those first 3 picks. Next pack, and I should mention this was a 12-person pod, so there won't be much wheeling, but next pack is Theros. There's a Nimbus Naiad and a Nessian Asp on top. Neither of those are really my color, and at the back is a Sentry of the Underworld, which is a solid black-white creature, and if I want to cut black-white to try to get the black-white Extort cards, then that might be a thing to do. I see a Bloodtoll Harpy that I think about too. It's really between going into one of these 2 colors, Nessian Asp or Nimbus Naiad, or just sticking black and white for the Sentry of the Underworld. Nessian Asp is amazing, but there's not going to be as many auras, so I do go for just the Sentry of the Underworld. Next pack, we get some Return to Ravnica. Not the pack that I opened, but somebody else's pack. There's a Rootborn Defenses on top, which I don't really have any token production. I see a Launch Party, which is solid removal. Heading towards the back, not really anything. There's an Inaction Injunction, which is fine, but I'm not blue. So really, it's kind of between Rootborn Defenses. Concordia Pegasus is there. I could just take a 1/3 flyer for cheap, but Launch Party is removal. I do have to sack something, but there's plenty of cards that I could hopefully find that give me leave the battlefield effects or make a piddly little token. So Launch Party kind of starts to go up in my books. I'm really stuck on that Rootborn Defenses, trying to think, can I get a token theme going? And that's pretty hard when you're going across sets. If you were in Return to Ravnica and you were just playing straight green-white Selesnya, yeah, you could totally do tokens and run a populate strategy. But when you're doing a bajillion different sets all in one draft, it's kind of hard to justify that. Concordia Pegasus, I really hemmed and hawed about that. It's not good. It's a 1/3 flyer, which I have over and over and over said that I just do not like playing. I don't know why I spent so long thinking about it. There's nothing else here. There's a Frostburn Weird. I actually pushed the Concordia Pegasus to the front, and then I pushed that Launch Party to the front, saying, yeah, it's removal. It's 2 damage to my opponent. Let's just take it. Next up, we've got some Fate Reforged. There's a Warflare on top, but not really red. I see a Sibsig Host. That's not something I want. Going through Shock My Dragon, there's a Channel Harm, a Tranquil Cove, a Whisper of the Wilds. nothing in this pack for me. I mean, Channel Harm is the single card that is playable with what I have, and playable is a real stretch of that word. I do not really care for Channel Harm. But, I mean, there's just nothing else in this pack for me. I don't want to go 3 colors. I want to stay consistent, so I do just take the Channel Harm, knowing that it'll probably be in the sideboard. Next pack is already here. It's Battle for Zendikar. We know these cards. There's a Lithomancer's Focus, a Blighted Gorge, Dutiful Return. Hey, a Ghostly Sentinel. Ghostly Sentinel is just a solid creature. Nothing else that I would even consider in this pack. So, boom, down it goes. All right, next up, we've got ourselves a pack of Origins. Bleh. This isn't a 2-drop format, so why do we have Origins packs? Read the Bones is fine. Of course, that's from Theros, so I would have been fine getting that from Theros too. But getting that out of an Origins pack was fine by me. Next up, we've got a pack of, what's that, Fate Reforged? Looks like Fate Reforged. Noxious Dragon on top. Nothing else in this pack for me, so just snap pick. There was just nothing there. We're into the dregs of the draft anyways. Next up, we've got some Born of the Gods. Haven't seen this one yet. There's a Black Oak of Odinus or whatever it was called. Then there's some green cards. There's Great Heart. I kind of go back and forth between the Great Heart and the Black Oak. The Black Oak does stuff. The Great Heart doesn't. So I guess we take it. I don't know if I'll play it, though. Getting near the end of the draft, we've got a pack of Theros. There's literally nothing in here. There's an Agent of Horizons, Defend the Hearth, Crackling Triton, and a red thing. I take the blue-green unblockable guy because I don't want an opponent to have inevitability, but that's about it. Coming to the end, we've got a pack of Journey, I think it is. Feast of Dreams seems fine. If somebody bestows something or puts an aura on something, it's going to be just solid removal for me. Follow that up, we got a pack for Ravnica. I think this is my pack back. We've got an Axebane Stag or a Scour the Wreckage. I take that because whatever. Last 2 picks here, we've got ourselves a Veteran Sidearm. I'll take that over the basic land. And then we've got a final pick, which, surprise, surprise, is a basic land. So that's pack 1. Not too bad. I started out pretty high on the Deathrite Shaman. That made back a good chunk of the value of my draft right there. Hopefully I can keep going with the packs, but I've got a black-white sort of theme going. I really want to get some Extort guys out of Gatecrash. I'm not sure how many packs of Gatecrash there were at my table, but I'm hoping to get a good amount of those. Unfortunately, I don't have a pack of Gatecrash, so I opened the one that looks like Gatecrash, and I opened some Cons of Tarkir. Throw away the tip card. We've got an Altar of the Brood, big whoop. On the back is a Raider's Spoils, which I'm actually a pretty big fan of in this format. +1/+0 to your creatures is huge. The Warrior thing is just kind of a nice bonus here or there. I push a Kin Tree Invocation to the front because maybe I could go black, green, white. I could go Abzan. Because Kin Tree Invocation is pretty solid, but you need to have big butt things, and I don't have parapets or things like that, and I may not get anything like that. So I just go with the Raider's Spoils and, give myself an option for some good old-fashioned aggro. Up next, we've got ourselves a pack of Dragon's Maze, and there's a Sire of Insanity in the pack. I love that card. It's super fun, but I'd have to splash red. There's a Dead of the Deathless, there's a Maze Sentinel, there's an Orzhov Cluestone, and a Tithe Drinker. So a whole bunch of options for me. Tithe Drinker is the Extort plan, which I love in this format. Maze Sentinel is a big white guy. Debt to the Deathless is fine, but often hard to cast and to pull off. The Orzhov Cluestone, maybe I can get it back around. Nobody wants Cluestone, so I do just take the Tithe Drinker and hope to go down the Extort plan. Coming from my left is a pack of M15 with an Ornithopter and an Endless Obedience. And I read that card and I say, hey, that's wacky. That would fit Wacky Wednesday's modus operandi. And there's not much else in this pack, really. There's a Tireless Missionaries. There's a Crippling Blight. There's not too much for me. So I think about the Endless Obedience. I think about, can I pull it off? Should I pull it off? It would make a good video. It would make for a good story if I did, in fact, get to do stuff with Endless Obedience. Crippling Blight might be the spikier pick. Eternal Thirst is just bad. Don't take that. So we do take the Endless Obedience to have fun for you guys. So we'll hear if I play it and if it did anything a little bit later. Next up is a pack of Ravnica and Concordia Pegasus. I don't know why I pushed that to the front. I don't know why I'm suddenly thinking that card's okay. But then there's an Arrest, and I push that to the front and take it right away because it's Arrest. And I'm surprised that it got to me like pick 3. Fantastic pickup. Says to the person to my left is not in white, so I move in hard. Next up, we've got ourselves a pack of Born. There's a Mortal's Ardor. Hey, Eidolon of Countless Battles, getting past good white rares. Yeah, I take that because it's a fantastic card, awesome as an aura, fine enough as a creature by itself. Total slam pick. Next up, we've got some Dragon's Maze with another Cluestone and another Maze Sentinel. And I remember why I hate Dragon's Maze, because all the packs are the same. But we take the Orzhov Cluestone here because who knows if I'll get the other one back, and who knows if I'll even play the first one. Cluestones are not the best mana rocks ever made. They are far, far, far from it. Next up, we see a pack of M15. There's an Oresco Swiftclaw in there, which is pretty handy. I do enjoy it. Heliod's Pilgrim, I don't really have any auras. I read it to see if it says enchantment, so if I could go and get my Eidolon, but I can't, so I just take the 3-1 for 2, because, hey, I like being aggressive in Chaos Draft anyways. Next up, we've got a pack of cons here, an Unyielding Krumar. That's a warrior. That goes with Raider's Spoils and is a decent one at that. There's also an Enoch Krumar Bondkin, that's the word. There's also a Dread Drop in here, but Dread Drop wasn't as good as it was hoped to be. And in a set where graveyard mechanics are harder, it's much harder to delve. So I kind of go through the 2 warriors here, and I do take the one that gets first strike because, hey, first strike on demand, pretty handy, especially when it's going to be a 4-3 with Raider Spoils. Next pack, we've got a pack of another pack of cons. There's a Sage-Eye Harrier, and not seeing too much else in the pack. I could splash for something, but Sage-Eye Harrier is fine. It's a morph, it's a warrior. It goes with Raider Spoils yet again. I'm basically building a cons deck here. Up next, we've got yet another pack of dragons. Sick and tired of dragons. There's Renounce the Guild's big whoop. There's a Maze Sentinel that's in foil and a Steeple Rock. So I kind of debate between the Maze Sentinel or the Steeple Rock. They're both expensive. One is a 3-1 flying first strike, which is pretty handy. But I mean, I'm going to be attacking with it, so the first strike isn't that important. Maze Sentinel is pretty beefy, though, so I do decide to go with it. Maybe I get some vigilance bonuses, but mostly it's a big, solid blocker that can also beat down if need be. Next up, we've got a pack of M15. There is a Sign in Blood in here and a Geist of the Moors. Geist of the Moors is basically an Oresco Swiftclaw in the air. So yeah, slam pick that. Coming near the end of pack 2, we've got a pack of Battle for Zendikar. There's a Fertile Thicket, a Mortuary Mire, Molten Nursery, and a Titan's Presence. Titan's Presence is horrible in this format because there are so few colorless creatures, so I just take the Mortuary Mire because it's the one card that I might get some value out of. Then we get past a pack of cons, and I take the Firehoof Cavalry because I don't want the elk or the land. And yeah, hoping to maybe get something at the end of this pack, but Chaos Draft, it's usually a pretty far-fetched hope. Yeah, last 2, we've got a Selesnya Charm or another Maze Sentinel. Well, I'm not going to play either of them. Let's take the second Maze Sentinel, I suppose. And hey, another island. Maybe it's a sign I should have gone blue. But we're going to move on into pack 3. Pack 3, we open one of my most hated draft formats, Magic Origins, and see what the pack gives us. What's the rare? Infinite Obliteration. Talk about one of the worst rares we could have gotten. There's a Bladecaster, but there's just not enough enchantments that are going to be in my deck to consider playing it. There's a Grasp of the Hieromancer, which is fine. But there's also an Eyeblade Assassin. It's a 2-2 for 3, which is overcosted, but hey, there's a number of ways to kill things off with combat damage or extra damage or anything like that. I'm not sure what I'm reading here, if I'm heavily reading the Eyeblade Assassin or if I was talking to somebody at the table or what I was doing there. But Eyeblade Assassin seems to be the best pick to me. I'm not going to take Bladecaster. Grasp was pulling me in a direction. I know it's super good. Would even be better on something like an Oresco Swiftclaw or a Geist of the Moors, but I just go for the Eyeblade Assassin. Next up, we've got some Journey into Nyx, I want to say. There's a Sigiled Starfish, but otherwise not much in here for me. A whole lot of blue in this pack, just naturally, and good blue at that. Stonewise Fortifier is kind of what I'm looking at. There's a Marsh Hulk, but that's not good. There's a Cruel Feeding, which I think about it. It's a single black for a combat trick, or actually I think it's sorcery, so it's not even a combat trick. So I just take the bear. I just take the bear with an upside, because why not? That pack was a bad pack for me. Next up, we've got some Dragons of Tarkir with a resupply on top. Hooray. But then at the very back, at the last second, there was a Aven Sunstriker. An Aven Sunstriker is a very nice card. Get that flipped up, get a 2-2 flying double striker, and you are good to go. Next up, we've got a pack of Gate Crash. Maybe I'll get some Extort, like my plan, but probably not. There's a Shadow Slice, which I have to read and read to remember that it's not that good, but hey, maybe it's the best thing in this format. There's a Killing Glare, which is nice, and then, hey, Holy Mantle, holy moly. Super good card, +2/+2, and protection from creatures. Yeah, that's going in the deck for sure. Get that on Even Sunstriker, and I would be totally happy. Next up, we've got some Theros, trying to get some stuff for the last bit of my deck. There's a Sip of Hemlock. That is just solid. Solid's a strong word. That is just removal. Fine enough removal, kind of like Launch Party. Get that 2 life loss to the opponent. Fine enough pickup this late in the draft. Following that, we've got some Journey. I can never tell those symbols apart, but there's Nightmarish End in the front, and that's really the only thing for me. I don't think I want to play it because it's just not good removal, but I do take it. Follow that up, we got a pack of Cons with a Bludgeon Rager on the front. That's totally fine for me. Yeah, just snap take it. It goes in my Warrior synergy with Raiders spoils. Just a solid pickup. Totally happy with it. Coming near the end, we've got a pack of Born. That is Born. The previous one was Journey. And there's a Necrobite and really nothing else for me. I look to see if there's anything I want to hate, but hating is not something you want to do in this format. If you waste any pick, you're potentially not going to have enough playables, so I just take the Necrobite. So what do we have at the end? Well, we've got Gate Crash. Is there Extort? Is there Extort? No, of course there's no Extort left. There's a Dying Wish, a Bane Alley Broker, a Shamble Shark, Shielded Passage. I again say, you know what, hate drafting is stupid in any format, so even stupider here. So let's take a white card, because maybe I'll play it, but probably not. Got ourselves a pack of Cons of Tarkir here. There's an Alicia's Vanguard on the front and an Even Skirmisher, which is just totally garbage. So I take the Alicia's Vanguard. It's a fine enough creature. It's a warrior. I've got the Rager. I've got the Raider spoils. I may as well just play a Cons of Tarkir Warriors deck here, really. And what do we got here? Hey, Battle for Zendikar. I know this set. We've got a Nirkana Assassin and nothing else, so we take the Nirkana Assassin. Final 4 picks. We've got Shambling Goblin. Why not? Go in the deck, or at least in this pile. Don't know if he'll actually go in the deck. Not sure where my third last pick was. I think I did it off camera. Second last pick, just garbage red card. And final pick, of course, is a land. So that's going to wrap it up for the draft. The draft didn't quite go as well as I had hoped. I really wanted a black-white Extort deck, and really I ended up in a black-white Warriors deck. Now, unfortunately, I didn't realize I deconstructed the deck. I did a bunch of cleaning this weekend and inventorying of cards, and failed to keep my Wacky Wednesday deck together. However, it was basically what you saw. It was a black-white sort of Warriors deck. I did have the Aristocrat in there. I did have Deathrite Shaman in there. I did play the Endless Obedience. More on that in a few minutes. But I definitely played the Bloodshin Rager, the Unyielding Krumar, the Oresco Swiftclaw. Just a ton of warriors that, with the Raider spoils and with the Bloodshin Rager's ability, definitely got me some wins. So how did I do? Well, match 1, I did totally fine. I cannot remember what I was up against in the matches that I won, unfortunately. But I played it out and stole some fairly meaningless creatures. I think I stole a Sunblade Elf. And then another game stole something else with Endless Obedience. Endless Obedience did a lot of work for me in this draft, but I just kind of got through with creatures. Match number 2, I was up against Garrett, who was playing also black-white. He was sort of a different route than mine, a bit more mid-rangey, a bit more higher end. His high end was Archfiend of Depravity, which I stole in both games. I killed it both times he played it, and then immediately stole it with Endless Obedience, which was pretty fantastic. So I was 2-2, or sorry, I was 2-0. Spoiler alert for my final record. 2-0 going into the third round. Third round, I was up against an Esper control deck, which just totally destroyed me, totally out-tempoed me. I could not handle it. I did pick up a game. The game that I won was when I stole his Angelic Skirmisher, a 4/4 flying angel that at the beginning of combat gives every creature Vigilance, Lifelink, or First Strike, whichever one you want for the turn. But yeah, the other 2 games where I didn't get to do that, I just got stomped. the final match of the night, I was 2-1, hoping to go 3-1 to get some packs. I don't quite recall what I was up against either. I really should have done this video a bit earlier, but boy, was this a busy weekend. Yeah, I ended up losing it as well. I do remember that. I just couldn't quite cut it against any deck that kind of was able to stabilize and was able to not get endless obedience by me. I was a pretty aggressive deck. I really needed an explosive start. I really needed kind of Deathrite into Swift Claw into I don't know, a 3-drop, and then throw an Eidolon of Countless Battles onto something, or throw a Holy Mantle onto something. If I didn't do that, then I was in a fair bit of trouble, and my guys ended up being way too weak on turn 7, turn 8, turn 9 of the match. But it was a fun night, and I thoroughly enjoy doing these Chaos drafts. We do them once every set. The FNM, the night before pre-release of the brand new set. Everybody's tired of drafting the set that we've been drafting for 3-4 months. So we throw everything into a hat and do these drafts. It's fantastic fun. If you haven't done one of these, I definitely encourage it. It's just super, super, super fun. And it really helps out your card evaluation because you have to throw set archetypes and set mechanics out the window. And you really have to evaluate each card as it comes to you in order to build a good deck. But that's going to wrap it up for Wacky Wednesday number 66. Definitely let me know what you thought of this Chaos draft. Have you done a Chaos draft on your own? What'd you think? What packs did you use? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at the Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. And you can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/themanaleak. You've already found me here on YouTube. You've got the comment section down below, as I said. If you like the videos, please click that thumbs up icon and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be able to keep up to date on all the Crackback Tuesdays, Wacky Wednesdays, Top 10 Thursdays, Spiky Saturdays, the box openings that will be coming this weekend, the FNM over-the-shoulder draft that will be coming, the first draft of Oath of the Gatewatch, and all the other videos that pop up here and or there. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next time.